Hello, my name is Andrew and welcome to Cup of Java Lesson 6. Today we're going to be talking about menus in JavaFx. So to start, we're going to start with the lowest part on the menu hierarchy, which are menu items. Now when it comes down to it, menu items are basically just text. They don't really have much functionality other than when they're clicked on and the text they show. And they're not standalone nodes. They must be put inside menus. So we can make a new menu item and set its text, and we can also set what happens when you click it, which is the most important part of a menu, with the setOnAction function, which you can put in a function as discussed in previous lessons. So you can see here, we'll get to menus and menu bars later, but we have some menu items that we can create automatically, in this case, to fill out a menu. So menus are also not standalone nodes in JavaFX. They must be contained in other stuff, which we'll get to. And menus contain menu items, which we can use with the menu.getItems.add and then put a menu item, or do .addAll and put multiple menu items. And menu items will show up in a drop-down window when hovering over a menu, and menus can even be nested for submenus, especially seen on the example where we have two layers of submenus, the menu and a menu and a menu. So you can see it automatically expands to the right, so if you need multiple layers of options, JavaFX allows you to do that. And so in order to actually show a menu, we need a menu bar. And a menu bar allows you to have multiple menus in a bar, which you might see, let's say, on a website where you have different options or different ways to travel to different pages. So we can use getMenus.add to add menus to the menu bar, or just insert the menu during the constructor, as seen as the example. And so we can have multiple menus. You can only access one at a time, but it allows you to nicely organize all your different menus. And so we have an example here with we have two different menus. So we have a menu, which is the one seen on the menu slide. We have all the different sub options, so we can click them. They don't do anything, but as you see, we have to click the menu. It will automatically highlight when cover over, and then we can just hover over. You don't have to click once we start clicking a menu, but we have to click to start accessing menus. And so you can see we have multiple things. You only access one at a time, and we can select what option we want. Next, we have menu buttons. Menu buttons are very similar to menus in function, but they're a standalone node, which makes them a lot more versatile in different applications, since they don't have to be tied to a menu bar. So menu buttons also have a bit of a different syntax when it comes to a constructor. Instead of just putting either a name or menu items, the syntax is the name, the image, which we haven't really covered, so you can mostly just leave it as null, and then you put in any menu items you want to add. And menu buttons can contain menus, so you can have submenus within menu buttons, but you can't have different menu buttons, because menu buttons are their own node. They're not really a true menu. They're kind of a menu plus a menu bar together. So we can see an example of that, where we put a menu button below the menu we had previously. So you can see that we can have different menus and they overlap. So it doesn't look the nicest, but if you do formatting, you can get other stuff. And you'll see this also looks slightly different from the menu button in the PowerPoint. That is because this is actually a split menu button. What split menu buttons are they're pretty much the same in terms of basic use, except they have, well, a button. It's not just, a button lookalike, but it's its own separate thing that you can access with the setOnAction. And so it allows you to have, let's say, some default button thing, but also allow other options. So this is really useful, for example, here, where let's say we had ingredients or something else, and we had a default amount, which you want the user will most likely pick, but just in case they want something else, you can have the menu drop down to let them select something different. And so this is a lot of very specific but very powerful uses. So finally, we have context menus. Context menus are basically custom right-click menus. So they're activated when you right-click a node, and they allow you to make your own menu for different options or other stuff. And some nodes already have default context menus, such as text fields, and we can set context menu of any node with the set context menu, which will override any default context menus already existing. So, for example, we can make a text field, which we can type in. We can do, right? And if we, let's say, don't like that, then we can right click, and you see we have a reset and an empty menu item, and we do a set on action. So when these are selected, we either set the text field back to what it normally is, which is right text here, or we just set it to a blank string, which is empty. So we can go here and we can do reset, and it goes back to right text here, or we can go empty and clear it out. As you'll see, it goes to a blank string. And something else is, since next fields already have a context menu, if we were to comment out the set context menu statement, and the context menu would go back to its predefined and more robust original, which has stuff as undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, delete, and select all. So all the things you'd expect in just a normal right click for a text editor, but JavaFx has it already embedded in their own special way.